What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wild Rift University, and today we have an excellent video for you today. We have been getting a ton of requests about doing an ADC video, and honestly, guys, normally my ADC is pretty good, but as of late, I don't know why, my ADC has been pretty bad, and every time I've played ADC in the last couple weeks, it's either me getting dominated or it's not good gameplay. It's nothing to really learn of. Most of the games I'm just basically kind of just existing in the game and just kind of like playing out through the game and not really making impact. Or I just get dominated. So there hasn't been any games where I feel like I was going to be able to show you guys or teach you anything. So I happen, though, to be friends with this guy right here, the number 6 Xayah. He's a good friend of mine, and also for like some of you newer players, like this guy, I've known him now for about maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and when I first met him, I wouldn't say he was as great, but he's super good now. I'll tell you what. So like you can improve, because I think when I first met him, he was still in Diamond. Now he's like Grandmaster. He's pretty close to Challenger, so he's improved a lot. Definitely the best Xayah I know. I mean, obviously he's top 6, so he's one of the best in North America. But I reached out to him, and he was nice enough to send me one of his videos. Super cool guy, super nice, and really great Xayah player. Really good ADC overall, but his Xayah is ridiculous. So he sent me this video, and it's actually funny. The video he chose happens to be a video that me and him played in a ranked game together. So I'm actually the Riven in this game, and we played together. So we're going to try and do a little bit more of like an in-depth breakdown this game, because everybody's kind of been asking. And this game also will probably be muted just because I didn't get to control the settings when it was recorded. So I think the volume might be a little bit too loud. So right here, his lane clearly leashed the blue for some reason. I'm not really sure why they would leash the blue, or they're just presetting. So there's 2 things you can do right here, okay? And let's kind of pause this. Like, let's say we're just gonna pause, because I'm gonna do a pretty in-depth breakdown, because I've been having so many questions for this. So this video is actually gonna be a little bit longer, because I haven't been doing like super deep in-depth breakdowns of micro and macro, but because so many of you have been asking for this, this is gonna be a really in-depth micro macro breakdown. So here he decided to like kind of slow push the wave. Like he pushed it, but he slow pushed it. So there's 2 things you could do there. Okay, when you realize your lane isn't pushing, and I think it kind of depends on the matchup, okay? The way you have to look at it is like, okay, is this a matchup where I lose? If it's a matchup where you lose, you don't want to hard push it. You just want to let the minions slowly attack each other and then last hit. If it's a matchup that's even, you can decide either way. Like this matchup right here, I would say it's kind of a skill matchup. Either side could win. Ezreal Thresh versus Rakan Xayah. If it's a lane you dominate, you want to hard push that right away, so that way they hopefully lose out on as much farm as possible, and you can control lane dominance as well. Okay, but it also depends on your play style, because maybe if it's a lane you win really hard, you want to wait and kind of go through. But here, because this is even, what I typically like to do, and I think the smart thing to do when you have a lane that's kind of even, you want to take the first like maybe wave or 2 to kind of feel each other out. You want to see like, okay, are these people confident on the champions they're playing? Are they really good at the champions they're playing? Obviously, like when you're top 6 Xayah, there's not too many people where you feel like you're going to be scared to play against, because you know you're one of the best players at a single champion in North America. So you'd be pretty confident. But I always really like to just feel it out at first when I'm going into, especially this is a higher ranked game. Like this is high Grandmaster game. Like every person in this game is Grandmaster or ex-Challenger from last season. So that's kind of exactly what they're doing right now. He's lightly poking, but he's more so filling out the lane. And you can see, but he's also keeping lane dominance and everything. So it's kind of obvious that you can see that this Ezreal and this Thresh are playing a little bit more passive, because they're not really pushing. They're kind of just sitting back and farming. So at that point, then I look at it as like you kind of want to start being a little bit more aggressive because the other team's showing weakness. Keeping them either pushed under tower, if you feel like that's the better way for your game. They have really good vision in the river, so keeping them pushed under tower is actually a good thing. Now, if you feel like they're really weak and you have bad vision, what you could do is try and force them into pushing the wave, so that way they have a long wave, so that way, or a long lane, so that way it's easier for you to engage on them and like make big macro trades. And then also what you can do is like if you push the wave back to your end by having them accidentally mess up, like if you notice that they accidentally mess up a wave by auto attacking it, then what you can do is now force the wave towards your end and then hard zone them off of the wave would kind of be the way. But here, you know, they kind of just want to keep dominance of the wave, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just keeping the lane kind of even. Sometimes keeping the lane even is also a good solid play as well. Because it encourages them to go in, it encourages you to go in, and they both have very, like, other than the Thresh, their champions are pretty safe and easy to get away with on both sides, but Rakan and Xayah are really, really hard to gank overall. So right now, they're doing a good job at keeping, like, lane control, lane dominance. Right here, what I would kind of like to see is him, okay, he's going out. I would like to see him push the wave up a little bit further, to continue, but they are going to need to place a ward down here soon, and the Rakan does put it. I like this poke. This poke's really good right here. They can finish this all in. The Thresh dies, but almost gets him. He's cleaned up, though, so it's okay. Right here, definitely need to hard push in the wave. You have to hard push the wave, because otherwise it's not going to reset properly. So if he hard pushes the wave right now, it resets it, and then he needs to back as soon as he gets it hard pushed, which it looks like that's exactly what he's doing as well. Okay, so right now we're 4-0-1. Let's take a pause. I'm not going to lie to you guys also. Actually, hold on. Let me wait till he backs. I don't know the Xayah build, so I can't really say what is the best build for Xayah. But right now, let's see. He's got 4,156 gold, whereas the Ezreal has 3,764 gold. So he's doing a pretty good job on like winning the lane right now and keeping control. What I would like to see him do now is continue to push his advantage. I would like to see him push out this bot wave to keep the lane priority like before it starts. You don't necessarily have to do that. Since he got pushed though, that kind of, yeah, they're kind of right on the edge, but I think right there, pushing out the bot wave real quick, or at least taking out a couple minions, so that way it's naturally pushing towards them to kind of give them the decision, like, okay, go for the dragon or get bot tower damage. Here, really good engage by the Rakan. So one thing I want you to kind of realize right here and notice, let me scope back. Notice how the Xayah, during this whole dragon fight, she's kind of like standing in between. Like she's putting herself towards the dragon, but also like in between her support at the same time until she has a position. By positioning herself that way, she's easily able to attack the dragon if she needs to, or attack the champions if she needs to, while her support goes in. So they're obviously a little bit too aggressive. I think after getting the first kill, the smarter play would have been to just help finish off the dragon. You didn't really need to try and finish out the kills or anything like that. But she's 2-1-3 right now. So she's got the second most gold in the whole game after the Fiora. So she's still doing really well. I like the rotate mid here, just to basically secure to make sure that nobody tries to dive that tower. And as long as, okay, good. I'm rotating mid right now. This was, okay. I think they left mid a little bit too soon. Luckily, though, the Riven and the mid were able to get there fast enough to kind of like save it. But right here, also, I'm just going to pause this real quick. As you see right now, if you look at the map, the Riven and the Akali are rotating towards the Fiora. Completely wrong. the Akali should have stayed mid because now she's giving away a free tower. So it's completely pointless. Like I get they want to kill the Fiora, but the Riven doesn't need the Akali's help, and the Darius is actually there. So that would have been like the better play. It was good for them to push the mid out, and then it was good for the Riven and the Akali to go to mid, but the Akali should have stayed. Okay, sorry, just had to point that out. Okay, so right now it's kind of clear to me that they're stronger. So what I would like to see is aggression, and there's two ways that they could kind of approach this now because they still don't have the wave. Since they're like way stronger than them, and they're kind of passive. Okay, there you go. This is perfect. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that initial engage, but I was gonna say they either need to like hard engage, or what they need to do is they need to allow them to actually mess up and overextend and push and then go in. Right here also, I don't know if you noticed, they were rotating as soon as that Darius started to fight. One of the biggest mess ups, which a lot of ADCs do, is they don't know when to rotate and when not to rotate. So I'm going to explain why this was a good time for them to rotate real fast. Let me just back up. So it's pretty obvious why, but just to kind of like show it to you. So right here, they get a kill, they clear the wave real fast, and then they see the Darius, and you can see they're immediately starting to walk towards the Darius, trying to cut it off. Because they had the wave cleared, there wasn't any value of them staying down, so it's more value for them to come. Unfortunately, the Wukong gets there first and everything. But you have to look at it like this. What's the value of me staying where I am versus going to help the team? But here, like, yeah, the Darius died, but she was able to get, what, 1 or 2 assists right there or something like that? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think she got 1 or 2 assists on that. So far more valuable. And she comes back and she missed like 1 minion. So definitely better. And she gets to crash the wave. So now she can take some damage on the tower, crash the wave as well. Here would be a great time to back. Oh, no, the wave's here. Got to hard push it again. So hard push this wave would definitely be the right call. If they overextend, they can fight. Unfortunately, the Rakan shouldn't have went in right there because the Xayah was a little too far back. But honestly, I think she should have been in a position to where she knows that, like, hey, we're really strong. Engaging right now and fighting is the right move. So understanding your power spike and, like, how strong you are compared to the enemy is a big play. Because if they would have... If she would have kind of like realized like, hey, now's a good time to engage, she could have been pushed up and they probably would have got that kill. I mean, well, they end up getting the kill anyways, but they wouldn't have had to dive like this. And it looks like, yeah. So let me kind of like explain to you. Okay, so see, I'm going to let this play out first. So like, as you see, the Darius now is basically going to die. Oh, wait, does he get away? I think he... Well, I die top lane. Ends up not mattering, so yeah. Ends up not mattering. But actually, no, the Darius does die right here. And she ends up... Yeah, she's probably going to die right here too. Yep, she dies. So let me break this down real quick, okay? This is why understanding your strength is really important, okay? We're going to just do this real slow. And I'm going to break this down. This is technically a hypothetical, but I just want to... So as you guys know, I was kind of saying about like right here, okay, they need to push this wave out and be aggressive kind of if they stay. All right? Now, look how far back she's playing. If you've watched some of my videos, we've talked about how... and like he's playing really, really well. I'm just doing an in-depth guide on this. I'm going to break it down like really in-depth. Just because so many of you have been asking for like an in-depth ADC guide, okay? And he's not technically doing anything wrong, but if I'm trying to be like really in-depth and like break it down to like how he could really improve and how you guys could really improve, if you've watched some of my videos, we talk about you back up when you're in a place of danger in order to make yourself safe, but you don't back up in a way that takes you out of the play. So right here, he was pushing, he backs up in a way that takes him out of the play. And what the play is the Rakan here going in. So now the Rakan goes in. Look how long he had to walk up before he could start attacking. Imagine, though, if he was closer. And part of the other reason why that is, so I want to show you guys something else right here. Oh, man, how far did I? Right here. Okay, I'm going to pause this. This is going to have to do with like dodging mechanics. So a lot of times when people are trying to dodge out of skill shots range, they walk forward and back. Forward and back is not the way you want to do it. You want to walk side to side. Side to side is the better way of dodging skill shots than forward and back, unless the intention is to run away. Then it's kind of more like a zigzag type thing. But a lot of times what you see, like in lane, people just walk forward and back, straight lines. You don't want to do straight lines. Side to side works better. But because he wasn't in the spot that he needed to be, what it's basically created is a situation where they can dive. Now, this is a really good play. There's nothing wrong with this play, but it's what leads up to all of this, okay? They get the dive. Look how much energy and time is given into just killing this Thresh. And how much, so they burn an alt, they also lose the Rakan, they lose the Akali, because it gives the enemy team time to rotate as well. And then, yeah, the Darius gets a triple kill, but then it ends up turning, if we scroll forward like we talked about, it ends up turning into both the Xayah and both the Darius dying, okay? Such small little things as far as like positioning that make huge impacts on the game, okay? Technically, nothing was wrong. Technically, nobody did anything bad or anything, but it's these types of little understandings of the game that make massive differences. Because all that basically happened, because the Thresh would have died if she was still pushed up more. Instead of doing a defensive backwards movement, did a side-to-side movement in a way that she knew would keep her safe from dodging a Thresh hook. She would have been there to place the damage and put in on a stun using her abilities, which would lock it up. And it would stop basically, because the whole team basically died. I mean, the Riven died, but it wasn't anyone's fault. She died, I died 1v1. But it literally, the whole team ended up dying, but that whole thing turns around differently if that was played. And then once again, look at this. See how she's, again, how I told you, like playing in between her teammates. Now, unfortunately, she gets hooked, but when you're Xayah, you always have the great escape. So now right here, she's doing a good thing. She's playing front to back. So front to back basically means she's attacking the closest person in front of her and then moving to the next closest person. Okay, that was a good example of front to back. So they have a Thresh, so it's kind of difficult. She got hit by the hook, but her positioning wasn't too bad other than the fact that, you know, Thresh got a hook over the wall on her. But positioning-wise, overall, she's like in between. Like she's in a position to where she can poke for her team. It'd probably be like a little bit better for her to like stand in the body of one of her teammates while sitting back. But so she kind of can go to both sides, like I was talking about before. She can attack the dragon, and she can attack the enemies as they come. So right here, they're all in just a great spot for Xayah. They're kind of like straight lining it. So Xayah's just going to be able to do tons of damage, set up tons of feathers, and just poke people out. Almost got the timing of the Zhonya's so close. And then look, all straight lines, able to just lock them down, gets the kill, killing spree as well. So kind of like ADC, what you want to do in team fights, like if you watch that, she had moments where she was behind her team, but then when they were really focusing on her teammates, she pushed up and started going in. And then once they tried to rotate their focus to her, she would then push back, okay? That's kind of how you want to approach the team fights. And so if you're really struggling in team fights, look at that team fight again. Like, let me rewind it. I'm just going to kind of show you this team fight once again. Okay. Watch her positioning. Watch how she goes in, backs out. She's going in deep because they're all focusing in, backing up because they start to refocus, starts going in deep because they're all focused and everything. Going in deep because they're focused, backing up because they start to refocus her. And it's a dance. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Follow the focus. Like if you see them focusing your teams, go in harder. If they stop focusing your teammates, back up a little bit and disengage as you go, as you attack. It's a dance. All of League of Legends is a dance. In the lane, in the team fights, you're baiting out each other's abilities and each other's movements, so that way you get small advantages. You're looking for temporary advantages to create large advantages. She was using the temporary advantages of them targeting other people in order to then turn them into a big advantage of kills and deaths. Same thing right there. Going in, backing out. Obviously, that was a 2v1, so really not that big of a deal. But still, same way. Right here, pushing with the team because they have a numbers advantage. They have 2 dead. Trying to get some little tower aggro and everything as well. And also her ult's up. So she knows she's safe. She can use her ult to disengage and gets a good stun. She may have been able to get away from there without using her ult. But the other thing you have to realize is, like, so I'm split pushing a lot this game, as you can see. They're utilizing their abilities to engage and disengage. Here, this was a little unfortunate. They got kind of spread out. And this is why I always tell people, don't fight in the jungle, because it's so hard for, like, teams to, like, play well around each other, so that way they don't mess up and get, like, discoordinated, especially like if you're going against like a Wukong or something like that. Champions have great AoE damage and crowd control. Yeah, like Wukong, Diana, those types of champions, they make big difference. Especially in jungle fights. Like you can't really win those in jungle fights. Now, if you get a good Xayah ult and a Rakan ult on top of each other, then yeah, you can win that. But when you're kind of running away because you're already low, that makes it more difficult. So right here, you can tell she's kind of like wondering, what should I be doing? And staying mid probably is the best bet. I don't know how much gold she has. She hasn't backed in a little while, so possibly backing. Yeah, clearing the one wave and then backing is probably the best bet. Yeah, I think she probably should have backed right there. I think she has a decent amount of gold because she's done a little bit. I mean, yeah, you can go and try and clear the jungle, but it's technically risky. Backing may have been the better play. Just to spend your gold, utilize your damage, or utilize your power. Because the thing is, if it doesn't matter how many kills you get or how strong you are, if you don't buy, then you never actually truly become strong. So now she's on a killing spree. I think it's like her second killing spree of the game. Like I said, utilizing positioning really well. And as you can see this game, she has split, she has team fight, and everything. And like I said, the biggest thing that she's doing is she's utilizing her teammates as basically pillars of when she can fight, when she can't fight, and everything. When the teammates go in and they're focusing the teammates, she focuses hard. And then when the teammates aren't going in and not being focused and they start to switch her focus to her, she changes it up. And so now basically the game is over. So unfortunately, he didn't show all the stats, so I'm just going to pause it right here so you can kind of see it. So she went 8, 2, and 15. I mean, just massive. Great amount of assists, great amount of kills, only 2 deaths and everything. It was obvious that she was placing lots of damage in team fights and stuns. Her front to back was great, and her engage and disengage was really good, as well as her positioning. Like I said, watch the video again. Watch how my friend engages when the team fights happen. Watch how he goes in, and while the team is his teammates are being focused, he engages hard. Like he pushes up onto the enemy. And then when the enemy, when his teammates back off because they're about to die, or the team switches focus because they realize the actual threat is, because the threat is, obviously you always want to kill the carry. So once they realize the carry's close, they switch their priorities, like, oh, screw this tank, I'm going to switch over to the ADC. He then backs up again, getting out of their range, so they go back to attacking, and then he chip shots as he can and moves back and forth. It's literally like in a dance of in range and out of range. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you. And I hope you enjoyed my friend Kuriyami's gameplay. Like I said, really good player. You're really not going to see too much of a better of a Xayah. And he's also a really good support too. He's just a really good bot lane player. Super good. Even when I am playing ADC well, he's a way better ADC than me. I think we're about pretty equal on support. He's probably a little bit better of a support than me too, because he plays it more. So I'd say he's a better support than me too. But his ADC is definitely better than me. But I have beaten him a couple times with my Tristana, but usually only late game. In the beginning, he usually pummels me. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.